extra footage,
Yeah.
right? So you might as well just keep, like when we were filming today, I kept the camera rolling for like 30, 20 minutes at a time, and then just going through it later. I feel like that's gonna pay off.
Yeah, you get more to work with.
Yeah. So they land, right? So it starts off, I'm just like, I'm feeling the way this movie begins is I'll just find some stock footage of like a rainy day or whatever, of some town, and then I have a steady cam in my backpack, and like steady cam of like whichever office space we find Ferline to sit in when she's like sulking over the death, where like she's just sitting there, like camera pans through the doorway, and then to her just sitting there looking at like a portrait. She walks up to
natural light.
Yep, natural light. Walks up to the window, outside window shot, and then she just comes back to the computer or on her phone, and then like goes through album or like looks at a portrait, and then gets online, looks for tickets to Bethlehem. We'll make it obvious, like tickets from Spokane to Bethlehem.
Tickets West.
Yeah, tickets West or like Delta Expedia or whatever, or Trivago or whatever she's gonna use, and then
Whoever sponsors it.
whoever sponsors it, and then she gets a ride, and she leaves. Do you think Ruth and Orpah should be there? She's sulking.
No.
I think they should be there.
The personal thing.
Yeah, so she's sulking, but then she finds tickets, and then she asks, "Can I get a ride to the airport?" Right?
Yeah. Well, I don't think she would have to call them. I think they all kind of live in the same plot of land. She would just be like, I decided to go back to Bethlehem.
Yeah, she calls them up, and then we'll have her walk to some like other room here, and then get Orpah and sort of the backstory behind what Orpah and Ruth are doing right here is kind of
Really
irrelevant.
Starts the conversation like, hey, can I get a ride to the airport? Why, what's going on? Where are you going? I decided to go back to Bethlehem. Land of
The land of my, late,
land of my people.
land of my people, and then Orpah's like, yeah, sure, I'm gonna grab the keys, and then and we can start to see sort of like the distress in Ruth at that point. I think that's when we can sort of make a like inclination that she's not too hyped about this.
Yeah.
Or just a different contrast in how Orpah's looking at this and how Ruth is looking at the situation. And then they get in the car, and then that's easy to film. We can just get whenever shots, so just like driving along the freeway, why not? Get to the airport, and then drama scene between Orpah bounces to the car, Ruth and Naomi, drama scene, she gets a ticket as well, and then they go on the airplane, download airplane stuff, and do the Captain voiceover I'm definitely gonna do. I'll just find a shot of the plane just flying through the air, and I'll go about descent, and I guess some quiet skies. I'll get an actual sheet of what they usually say, and just interpret it for this. And then, like, when they land, I think we should show that barley harvest has begun.
How do you think?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if we're going for the grocery store analogy, I don't think we would really need to.
You don't think we need to?
No.
Right.
Because the barley harvest starting in Bethlehem was kind of a plot point. It's weird we were talking about like real life, and using literary analogy. It was kind of a plot point to get the story going with like what exactly brings Ruth and Boaz together. And it's kind of like an occupation for Ruth to have that would allow her. Anyways, it's kind of it's a dead end of a
So it's not relevant to bring up.
What I was thinking of going for was oh man, I have it kind of written down in my notes because I was showering one morning and I was having some good ideas. I got out and so I was thinking of
Shower thoughts, but yeah.
So Oksana Ruth comes into Fred Meyer's and she's wearing like kind of dirty clothing, like 'cause she's been acquitted. appearance, this is very real. Her employees engage in customer service relations, which is a fancy way of saying like, like checking on you to make sure you're not stealing. And they keep asking her if she's finding everything okay and like they can help her with anything. Um, because like, someone who's like kind of dirty and like shady coming into the store, they often get targeted for that kind of thing. And I was thinking maybe if we could have the intercom thing do, this is something that we also do, security check, section A, like,
The way
we could even do a voiceover for that.
I can edit and make it sound like a PA system. That's because I did the same for one of our videos.
But yeah, we could have her go to the barley or the aisle where we sell barley, and it comes prepackaged, right? We'll buy our own like small baggie of bulk food barley from the bulk food aisle, and we'll just sip it on the floor there, and then she'll come and pick it up for the shot, and like, and then she'll go up to the checkout for some reason with it. Like this won't really make too much sense narrative-wise. Like why would she buy it? She just picked it up on the floor. But when she goes to buy it, like from me, she pulls out like this bag of coins, and I actually have a bunch of coins like in my car at home, whatever. And she's like starts putting them out on like the counter, and like I get impatient, and I'm like, okay, hang on, and I just void the transaction, hand her that slip. People that here will think that slip is a receipt for it, like I gave it to her for free. But that's just a way for me to cover my tracks at work and not have it like end up in her system that something was bought. Anyways, I'll hand that to her, and she'll be like, "You're giving this to me for free," kind of thing. And this is kind of where the analogy starts to get a little cloudy. Like, I'm not sure if we should offer her a job at Fred Meyer's or like just have her like,
when they first meet, right?
get food for free. What I wrote down here, which comes up by the barley, she pays him lots of coins. Boaz stops her hand and then turns around and offers her a job. And then quote from scripture: "So Boaz said to Ruth, my daughter, listen to me. Don't glean in the field, another field. Don't go and glean in another field, and don't go away from here. Stay here with the women who work for me and watch the field and then harvesting." I was thinking like, go out there and get like a whole bag of barley. I'll tell my coworkers not to bother you. It's all good. We'll make it right for you.
That's how they meant that. I like that.
We could have like some like dirt mixed in with the barley that she brings up. Like really just sad looking. Like
where did you find that, girl? Dude, I think if you had a black man accent, dude, sort of like an old blues singer type of
yeah.
Hey girl, where'd you find like a Stevie Wonder song. That I know that wouldn't be appropriate, but if we had a spin-off, that'd be pretty funny.
She goes like, I was talking early, and then she goes home, and then that's when it goes into what I wrote in the script or the research. The farmer explains that she is a foreigner in the Moabite who's accompanied Naomi on her return to Bethlehem. She has been permitted to pick up any scraps left behind by the harvesters. So she's getting food, but it's a paltry sum, just like in my analogy.
Yeah.
Upon hearing this, Boaz approaches and addresses Ruth directly, insists that she stick to working in his field. He explains that he'll send a memo out to his harvesters not to bother her while she follows along with the rest of the women gatherers under its employ. And he'll even throw in some free water. So
some water bottles.
Barley and water bottles. Ruth asks how she, a mere stranger from foreign soil, could garner this much generosity and kindness from such a well-respected man of Judah. Boaz replies that he has heard the sacrifices that she has made, the life that she once had and lost, and the qualities of loyalty.
In the scene, in the Freddy scene, what I'm sort of, by the way, like when you were telling your sort of like view of this from the beginning, dude, like I think I spaced out. Like I was so like deep in your story, like I was there. Dude, I was at Freddy's. Like I was following. I'm like following you along. She's like going through the aisles, picking the barley off the floor. Yeah. Comes up to you at the counter. I was like, I was there.
Yeah, good.
It was good. And what if at the beginning she walks through the store, and instead of you starting off as a cashier, you're like, you're stacking, or
What's stock?
you're just stocking some barley stuff or something.
Yeah.
And then you like show her or whatever, and then that just briefly shows you before the cashier part. But you say that like, oh, I have to go pick up a cashier, but you know, once you're done shopping around, you can come over to my whatever,
Yeah.
to my aisle,
My register.
to your register, and then you walk over there. That's when, what's his name, Harvester is also another cashier. It could be me or anybody else that we decide to do it, and then you're walking back, and then we'll show that you're sort of like, who's that like girl that you saw that you're sort of just like still thinking about it. You're just like, hmm. You
And
come
that's
over,
when I asked
then
Harvester.
you come over to me or whoever's the Harvester. And you're like, there's like some girl over there in the barley. Like,
What's her deal?
Like, what's her deal? And then that's when you sort of get briefed on.
Yeah.
And that's when you get to the, when she gets to the cashier, it makes sense why you're so like
Invested.
yeah. And then I think if you come over to the cashier later, and while she's picking barley off the floor, is that there's a little short conversation between the Harvester and Boaz at the register.
Yeah, they could be watching her picking up off the floor. And
Yeah, like
what's her deal? Like, well, it's like, well, she doesn't really have much money, and like they just came here from Moab, and they lost like their entire family. She actually isn't even from Bethlehem originally. She's from Moab, and she just followed along with Naomi to, you know, make sure that she does well here, and just make sure that she doesn't live the rest of her life alone. Or like, I don't know, like she's a widow as well. Like, just really like layer on like the sadness of like.
Is it another coworker, or could it be somebody going through your register before her? It's just another buyer.
The guy telling you these things.
Harvester.
The harvester, the foreman, could be this person. I think
or is a harvester on the same level as she is?
the harvester could she could walk up to the barley aisle like looking hungry, and then this is already an established set of the barley and the stuff on the floor. She comes up to the barley and she looks hungry, and the harvester's stalking nearby. She's like, hey, could I pick these up? Like, or like, I don't know, maybe she could kind of be a little bit annoying with like, hey, I'm really hungry, and like, you know, I lost my blah, and the person I'm taking care of lost their blah, and you know, we just having going through hard times. Can I at least pick these up on the floor? He's like, yeah, of course. Like this is a person who's like, you know, they're kind.
This is the harvester, right?
Yeah, the harvester.
Yeah.
They're kind, but kind of to the bare minimum. Like, you know, like they're not gonna give you a full bag of barley. They're like, yeah, you can take the stuff that we have on the floor.
Yeah,
and then like later on, when it's like, hey, who is that chick? Like the weirdest thing. She was like, well, she lost her entire family, blah blah. And
so yeah, we don't need to have Ruth in dialogue tell the harvester her story, but we can have her start the story and imply that she finishes it to the harvester, and he's just like, she's like, yeah, he's like, you know what, I don't like whatever, it's not my deal, you know, you do you, like I'm just gonna leave the
really sorry about your
yeah,
situation.
and then he goes.
Please take out
Then I think the next part. So you want it to be the a guy that works there, or do you want just another customer coming through the aisle? So
I was thinking.
What do you think makes more
cashier
sense?
there? Well, I was thinking I would be a cashier there because of what I was thinking for later in the story, where it's like, you know, cause she can't take bags of barley for free every single day, so we offer her a job there. Like that's the part where go and work with women in my field kind of thing, and.
Yeah, because then the harvester could be one of the people that you say like, stop. I'll tell them to stop bothering you, and the harvester is sort of like the guy that's bothering her. Yeah. Then that could be. Then Ruth is not like, Ruth doesn't ask to pick him off the floor. She just assumes that she can.
Like, and he comes in like, hey, what are you doing?
Okay.
And then she tells him the story, and then he's like, all right, not my problem. And he goes.
And then that's when he talks, like, then he picks up a register next to you or whatever.
Mm.
And he's like, dude, the weirdest thing on the aisle with what, 12 or 7 or whatever it is, that there's some, like, woman, Ruth, and she's telling me her whole story. And this is after you already see her, you already help her get to the barley aisle, and then you have to bounce because you have to pick up a register. Yeah, okay, I like that. So that's, and then she leaves, right? Send a memo to his heart not to bother. Ruth asks how
She leaves, and then that's when she. Well, actually, they have dinner before she leaves. He invites Ruth joins in on mealtime with Boaz and the harvester. She enjoys a meal and even hangs on to some leftovers. While she's leaving to go back to grazing, Boaz tells his harvesters to let her gather even closer to them, where the bundles of crop are being assembled. He adds that they should also pull the flour stalks out of the sheaves and leave them for her to gather. I don't think we necessarily need this actually, but yeah.
Hangs on smooth while she was leaving. She come back to grazing.
Did you like my first sentence of Ruth and Naomi? Ruth returns to town from a day of harvesting, having collected almost a bundle's worth.
in italics. Nice.
I wanted to make this like fun for everyone to read, but while also being informative.
It's like a table read. So you wanna ditch 4?
3.
Huh?
That's 3, right?
No, 4 is the Ruth joins in.
Oh, I labeled life and death in Moab as 1.
Same.
1, 2, 3, and then, oh, what? Oh, I never it wrong. Sorry. Yeah, 4. Ditch 4.
So okay, because it seems like in the context of scripture, it seems like dinner and picking is at the same place.
Yeah,
which is not gonna make sense at first.
Yeah, it would.
It doesn't seem that integral to the story.
Yeah, it doesn't seem too integral to the story. If we wanted to do it, we could probably use my break room.
But that's just like that. That's.
Or we could just use the Starbucks cafe if I am.
Well, I'll get on break. I'll be on break soon, and then you'll get lunch or
We're gonna
whatever.
have something more than just barley, like, and then I'll buy her like whatever, something wholesome.
That could make sense.
Yeah.
And that doesn't necessarily have to be. We can do that whenever.
Yeah.
Because when you get on break, well, I'll just come in there quick, like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
How long is your break? Half an hour?
10 minutes, and then I have if I get a lunch, it's 30 minutes to an hour, depending on the length of the shift.
All right, but if it's a 10-minute whatever break, that's 5 minutes tops.
Yeah.
And I don't want that scene to be long, because dinner, like, usually we get 4 lines of stuff, and then, Ruth joins Boaz, and then the harvester, if that's what we decide to do.
Yeah.
And then you're like enjoying a meal, and then you can see that obviously, like, you're a different class of, like, she has like no table manners or whatever. Like, she's just, just chowing down this food, because obviously she's hungry.
In the scriptures, they eat like wine vinegar and bread or something like that. Like it's obviously something kind of new to Ruth. And he's like instructing her how to eat it, kind of thing. So you can tell that he's like speaking to the plebeian.
Yeah. That's what we decided to do. We can easily cut this out and not do it if it's like, because it doesn't mess with anything like concrete to the story.
As far as like getting a little meta here, we have 12 minutes until people are set to arrive to film. I feel like we should focus on marriage at the gate in regards to like script. I think we've already kind of vocalized a lot of our ideas for how this is gonna go, but it would be good to have it like so we can boom, 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 film it.
Before one has to not really. I'm just trying to figure out the scene right before 7. So.
Oh, okay.
It says within the night by request, but leaves for morning says to not blah 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 blah. As a parting gift, what happens? See what happens. And I kind of feel like the sort of the preset to number 7, like right above it. I kind of feel like Boaz pacing. Pacing in his like wherever he's. If we're gonna do it at your house or like where you live, it's pacing in like you're thinking over this.
Over the marriage?
Huh? Yeah.
Well, he says in scripture at least, Boaz is flattered by her proposal, but he then explains that the situation is as simple as that because there's someone closer to her family who's more qualified as guardian redeemer. He'll discuss his proposal with them and the others, and if he refuses, then and only then will Boaz step in and claim her. Like he wants to marry her, like he's down for it, and he vocalizes that with like, I'll marry you if your actual guardian redeemer says no. So he's set in his mind about it, like he has no, like what I found kind of odd in the scripture was like when he finds her asleep at his feet. Like I don't know if I just don't understand the culture very well, but like she proposes to him, and he's like, "Thank you so much for your kindness. Like this is such a kind deed that you've done," kind of thing.
No, I feel like sleeping at his feet is a euphemism.
Yeah, maybe. Like there, I think in some interpretations I was reading, it was like so what one person was saying, well, I guess a whole bunch of theologians were saying that Naomi, this is an example of a woman in the Bible using her feminine wiles, kind of feminine scheming is what they called it, to get what they wanted, better standing, in the community, established family line, all this stuff. And so what they were saying is Naomi's intentions for Ruth was for her to go there and seduce Boaz.
Right.
It wasn't a marriage thing at all. But that's what happened was Ruth's intentions got in the way, and instead of seducing him, she decided she wanted to marry him to not only because Naomi's intentions were for Ruth just to be with Boaz, and for him to take care of her. But Ruth figured out kind of a loophole where if she marries Boaz, then Naomi also gets some,
Yeah, so she's
brownie
like
points
thinking
kind of thing.
like for herself and for Naomi
Yeah.
still.
Naomi will benefit as well because she can maintain the name of Elimelech, who is Naomi's husband, and also Mahlon and Killian, and keep that property, under that estate, under that name. What was I even getting at this? But oh yeah, like the kindness of thank you for not just trying to seduce me and make this a one night stand type situation and actually proposing to me.
I think we can. I think the way we can script that scene can convey that he's truly he thought that she was a player and that she was just playing him.
Yeah, because that's why.
Because it's kind of a quick jump from having lunch at whatever once, and then her going back to Naomi and being like, "Yeah, I met this guy, blah blah blah."
Yeah, the gaps in those scenes are always just Naomi and Ruth chatting, and Naomi being like, "Oh, yeah, you should push it forward, push it forward."
Don't get on that.
Yeah.
And then, should we, with the way Ruth is portrayed as her affections for Boaz, do we see any remorse about her late husband, Mahlon?
We could.
Is she sort of hesitant? She's
Incorporate.
I just gotta, or how long ago did Mahlon?
They stayed in Bethlehem for 10 years after, or no, they stayed in Moab for 10 years after everyone died. Or, I'm not sure, well, I know for certain that, Elimelech died and then 10 years passed, and, that's, I don't know when Mahlon and Gillian died, but,
Well, we'll just won't be we'll just be vague about it. We'll just have we'll say, so I was with someone, and then
we could have in the photo thing, a one-ish photo of,
whoever would send
Alina Elimelech, and then a photo of Oksana and Killian, I think it was
Uh-huh.
Nolan, and then a photo of Orpah and Killian,
and then
just so everyone's lost somebody kind of thing. We could even have it kind of like a scrapbook situation where it's the dearly missed or the dearly departed. Or
I
something.
feel like Orpah could be one of the younger kids could be Orpah, because one it's gonna be easier to find a Killian.
Yeah.
Because finding a Mahlon for Oksana,
Yeah.
it's gonna be there's if I'm the harvester, that's what we're gonna go with. Because I feel who else would be harvester?
Yeah,
So I wasn't-
you'd be good harvested. The more I think about it, the more I get.
Because
excited.
if I wasn't harvester, it'd obviously be Mahlon, because that'd make the most sense about Oksana being, which is I feel it's not a bad deal if I'm both.
Yeah.
I can just dress differently.
And you swear a mustache and
Yeah.
a beard for the Mahlon.
Yeah,
thing.
just seem older.
Yeah.
Which is, I think that'd fly over well. And plus, it's gonna be a portrait, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna be a vague photo that I'll just Photoshop and then make it seem older, just age us up. but the scene, we gotta talk about marriage at the gate, so. Where's the town gate is, so.
Town gate is more of a symbolic thing, like this is where big town meeting type, like public displays are like enacted, and a church is
So I
more.
feel like a table's down here.
You wanna go here?
Huh?
I was thinking the main hall, and like,
And then the elders just.
at least
in front
this
of
is the picture I had in my head, where like, you know, it's like the whole wedding ceremony aspect where we're standing on the center podium, like where other people get married.
Yeah.
And then like, you know, you have the three people, the elder, the guardian redeemer, and Boaz standing there, and it's like, you know, it's like they're kind of about to get married, or no, like, okay, the guardian redeemer and the elder is kind of like a pastoral figure, and he's like, do you take the blah blah blah, that you're lawfully wedded, and like, he's like, yeah, and yes, and then it's like, do you also accept Ruth as, you know, part of this package? And he's like, I do not, and then he like, you know, takes his sandal off and gives it to Boaz, who's kind of like a best man figure.
Yeah.
You know? And yeah, and then you have the audience sitting in the pews.
Yeah, which
So,
you know what I was thinking,
if
audience
we
in
can
the
do it
pews.
here too.
You know what, audience in the pews, it's obviously we're not gonna have an audience, but I can just pull footage off YouTube of actual church recordings. When they're panning the crowd, and then people are just like beside themselves, like quietly watching. There's just us up there.
I love it.
Because they're two
Jeez.
completely different angles,
Yeah.
so they're not gonna know. They'll know that's not.
We can get footage of the same people in different outfits, sitting in different spots.
They'll never know. Oh my gosh, that'll be good. And
That's freaking genius.
so, okay, so right now, Boaz goes to town. I feel like, so the way it kicks off before that, the scene. So if Boaz is pretty set on his decision, so he's not pacing. But what ends right before 7 is Ruth is just chatting with Naomi again about, she's like, you know, I'm just waiting.
Wait to see what happens.
Yeah.
Well, Naomi is
And then
like
I'll
instructions.
just indicate a passage of time with, like, you know, just a moving shot and then fade, and then Boaz goes to the town gate,
Yeah.
which is like the elder, or like he opens the doors, right?
Well, like we could have an establishing shot because he gathers these people together himself.
Right.
Like where we could have like scene where he comes up to the guardian redeemer and he's sitting on the chair. Hey, can I talk to you for a second? And then like hey, like have a seat right here. Well, what happens? I'll just read it. Boaz goes to town gate with the more qualified guardian redeemer. He invites him to sit. Boaz then gathers 10 town elders and invites them to sit down as well. He returns to the guardian redeemer and explains all that. So like we could have those establishing shots of him gathering these people together, and then that's when he explains basically like the wedding vows, or no. If we're doing a wedding vow angle, we would want the pastoral figure to do that, or at least the elder to do that.
Vitaly's the elder, or did you put Serge as guardian redeemer?
Surgeon's guardian redeemer. That's what he said he wanted to be.
Yeah, I don't know. He fits. No,
I would love him.
That's a good role. Okay, so what the establishing shot you want from fading from Ruth and Naomi is him
gathering people.
is him like gathering people, like handing out flyers, you mean, or just like,
Not just like, hey, can you come with me?
well, they're on stage, so how's that gonna look on camera?
Like, well, we would have the people sitting in the audience and the 3 people on stage.
Alright,
And we would just kind of pan back and forth from there. Well, we would do one pan of the audience just to establish that they're there as witnesses, because that's an important part of it. And then another shot of just the transaction going down, because that would be the main focus. And still kind of hung up on this, like how the explanation, whose mouth it's going to come out of, and how it would make sense narrative wise.
So the elder is basically like in charge of this transaction, right? He's the broker, he's brokering this.
He's scripturally he's the witness, but here he would be more brokering.
Alright, so you search elder on stage. Right?
Or okay, Boaz hands a piece of paper to the elder. It's like, could you read what I wrote here? It's
Yeah.
like, and then he starts off with like, our guardian redeemer. We should give him a name. Do you take Naomi, who just came back from Moab, or like guardian redeemer? Naomi back from Moab is selling a piece of land that belonged to her late husband, the quit acting. I wanted Boaz here wanted you to take initiative
So,
to get the sale moving forward, which is why he gathered all of us here today.
but you see, the catch here is that the guardian redeemer, could you say GR for now?
Sure.
Okay, so
It's
GR,
such an annoying.
yeah, it's a weird name. Like, so GR, he accepts it at first, like he's hyped, and then that's when you whisper over the, or not, you also have to take Ruth, right?
Yeah. Well, like, if we're doing a marriage transaction thing, he would say, I do to three things, and then say, I do not to the fourth thing.
Yeah, but
and
he bails
fourth
out
thing
of, he bails out of everything, right? Because he says,
Yeah, he has to
has
bail
his
out of
ownership on,
everything.
what?
Like, yeah, he would have to bail out of everything.
So, does the last thing that he says no to, should that take him by surprise?
Yeah, most likely.
So where he's like, like I think, show that he's
Wait,
like,
what? Like,
he's ready for like a done deal, like, ready to bounce.
yeah, I would be like, yeah, no, I would take the land, but only if I. But that, what the scripture says is that would endanger my estate. I cannot accept. You must accept it. It's very, very clear, like very dry. Like, I'll find it.
Well, we can make it a little more dramatic because this is
Yeah,
the climax.
At this, okay, so you also acquire Ruth the Moabite, the dead man's widow, in order to maintain the name of the dead with his property, so that his name will not disappear from among his family or from his hometown. Today you're witnesses. I guess
Now, this is when Boaz says, this is when, what's his name, GR bounces. The verses at the bottom is when
Oh
Boaz.
yeah, that's after he's accepted.
Yeah.
So I do continue. You also acquire Ruth the Moabite, the dead man's widow, in order to maintain the name of the dead with this property. At this, the guardian redeemer said, "Then I cannot redeem it because I might endanger my own estate. You redeem it yourself. I cannot do it."
So how do we put this in sort of like modern terms? Is that, obviously it's not modern that you're buying this piece of land or whatever, and you have to marry someone along with it.
Yeah.
And I guess we can. I could just be like,
If we wanted to,
whose condition is this? Who made this condition that you have to marry Ruth as a result of buying land?
it's a Jewish thing. Definitely. Like,
But what if maybe like, if this is in Bethlehem and this hit like, do we have to, or do earlier before the scene, do we have to explain that, Naomi plans to sell her land? When is this brought up?
yeah, it's actually not brought up in the scriptures that she plans to sell it. I think it might even be an idea of Ruth's. I mean,
So is she selling it just cause?
well, yeah, it was definitely, thinking about it personally, like, I don't know if this is what they were actually thinking. It does seem like it would be an idea of Ruth's because of the whole aspect of Naomi just wanted Ruth off her back and out of her house kind of thing, and to go establish a life with Boaz. But Ruth figured out a way for Naomi to, continue to be like an estate owner of any property associated with the name of Elimelech, and by lengthening or prolonging next line, by marrying a guardian redeemer, Naomi is, everybody benefits kind of thing. So this would be an idea of roots, but Naomi would have benefited. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Because, see, everything makes, like, the land stuff does not make sense with the previous scene where Boaz tells Ruth, nothing is mentioned where Boaz is like, explains that the situation is not simple, blah, 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 close to her family, so that would imply that Ruth is unaware about the land. That's what makes it seem like.
Yeah.
Where he's like, Boaz is, someone's closer to her family, is more qualified as GR, we'll discuss the proposal with them and elders, and if he refuses, then only then will Boaz step in and claim him.
Are you supposed to like say about the land?
Yeah, scripture literally says only one thing about like what Ruth's intention.
What if we?
She says, "Spread the corner of your garment over me, since you are a guardian redeemer of our family." And then Boaz goes on this big thing of like, "Lord bless you, my kind daughter. Kindness is greater than should early. You have not run after the younger men, but the rich or poor. And now, my daughter, don't be afraid. I will do for you all you ask. All the people of town know that you are a woman of character. Although it is true that I am guardian redeemer of our family, there is another who is more closely related than I. Stay here for the night. Let him redeem you, the son of guardian redeemer. But if he's not willing, as surely as the Lord lives, I will do it. Lie here until morning." There's no mention of like, become the guardian redeemer and save our property also, you'll get land. Like, I think it's like, it's an implication that like, they kind of both are you, probably.
About the land?
I mean, like, yeah, you were a guardian redeemer of our family, like, I feel like she knew that the land would come with,
So I think we should mention the land there.
yeah.
That when she proposed
Yeah.
to him.
The reason, okay, modernizing it, not just to prolong the family line, which isn't as, maybe it's important to some people, but like, it's not as important these days, and not something that people really like, oh.
No, it doesn't have to be family. I think it just be like,
it would be like, oh, I
mean a
can't-
lot to me.
No, it's Ruth and Naomi are like, we have this property, but like, we're women, we can't take care of it, like, it's falling apart, kind of thing. I mean, it's could happen. Like, we need a man's hands to come in and take over, step in, like, and that's where the plot is born, where, like, that's how, like, we need to snag a man to, or Ruth at least is like, if I marry a guy and go establish my life with him, then Naomi's just stuck in this chicken coop.
Right, then I think Ruth and Naomi discussed that in 5, I think.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
before she goes to his field and proposes to him, or not to his place.
Yeah, like it can kind of derail from scripture with regards to Ruth spontaneously coming up with that idea
Yeah.
there, and more of a discussion between Naomi and Ruth.
So this is in 5, I'm gonna write down that.
Like, no, I think I'm just gonna propose to marry him. Like,
Discuss land.
yeah,
Sale.
and then you can take care of it. Like, who's like there could be like a big line. It's like, who's gonna take care of this place when I'm gone? Like, you, and then she's gonna be like.
Jeez, Mom. And I kind of want the cell phone things where just like, like they're just chilling at home, and then she's like playing Candy Crush or something, and then Naomi's like trying to like this is serious stuff going on, because it's like, it seems that Naomi's way more thrilled about this whole Boaz thing than Ruth is.
Yeah, Ruth is always just like, I'll do whatever you say.
Because Ruth comes home, right, and Naomi's the one like, what happened?
Yeah.
Like trying to, like she's super hyped up about it, and Ruth's like, oh, I saw him at the store or whatever. He's like, I saw a guy at the store. I guess he was a cool guy. We had lunch on his break or whatever, and whatnot. And then she's like, oh, you gotta go to the house. You gotta make a move, Ruth. You gotta.
The reason why they have dinner is to round out like how many gifts he gives her when she comes home. She brings home the almost a bundle's worth, along with some leftovers that she had from her meal to give to Naomi as a meal.
Yeah, dinner, and Ruth returns to town from the oppressor. Okay, wait, when it says Naomi Bliss, you know what, we can talk about this thing later because we're not filming today.
Yeah.
Marriage of the Gate, it could just be a pan of this, like a restless, crowd, where like it's just about to get started, like.
So
I'm
they're already
kinda
there.
seeing a contrast here in my head between a court hearing,
A what?
a court hearing, like in a,
Yeah.
just regular town hall
Sort
sort
of
of thing.
transactions good.
I'm leaning towards sort of a legal thing.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be in church, but maybe not go for the whole wedding part, because it seems like more of a business transaction.
Okay, yeah.
Although a wedding would be a modern equivalent, I feel like if we stick to sort of the business deal as this is, cause it's literally, it seems like, the thing between GR and Boaz that they're just standing there, it's like, almost like controversy over a will, sort of like, if GR doesn't agree to this, these terms, whatever, he said, like, he has to walk away.
Yeah.
That's not.
It could be less of a witness broker type person, and more of like a lawyer.
Yeah, that's what I'm
somebody
thinking.
behind the desk.
I feel like the elder can be a lawyer, and then sort of like the 10 elders is like a jury sort of deal,
Yeah.
cause it says 10 town elders.
The jury gets a line according to scriptures. When the deal is completed, they say, "We are witnesses. May the Lord make the woman who is coming into your home like Rachel and Leah, who built together at the family of Israel. May you have standing in Ephrathah and be famous in Bethlehem. Through the offspring the Lord gives you by this young woman, may your family be like that of Perez, whom tomorrow will be due." So it's not only blessed by the broker person, the elder, but it's also just all the people who have been witnessing this the whole time. That could be where we incorporate them, give them a reason for being here.
Yeah.
Warm bodies.
No, the jury, yeah, I think, so we're ditching the wedding thing.
Yeah.
Going more towards lawyer.
I think the wedding thing was definitely more of a comedic thing, but.
Yeah, that would be funny, but I feel like the way this scene goes, you could really laugh, cause you would be focused on sort of the conversation, what's actually going on.
Yeah.
Instead of, laughing that it's like a wedding. I feel like that wouldn't be, I think we have plenty of like funny stuff regarding, I think we could like be super funny about laying on his feet, like that could be, and a voice, and I was thinking maybe like throw, for reference, maybe occasionally throughout the film, throw Bible verses on top, just so to maybe explain what's going on, or narrate it.
That seems like an editing decision. I would sit in on your editing process and so I thought it's like times where that might be needed.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like post-production.
Yeah, right, yeah, we can narrate it, right.
Like wherever things are lacking, like when we watch it ourselves again, it'll be like, you know what, if someone was watching this, it wouldn't really make much sense, like, then we could resort to, cause it's like, it's helpful, but it's also kinda like a cheap trick to like,
And then like we either.
here's what's happening.
Listen up.
Yeah, it's the classic rule of writing, show, don't tell.
Yeah. Okay, the way I fit the scene, or this ending coming apart is restless crowd, so like church is just starting.
Yeah.
And well, not church, but, the hearing, we'll call it hearing. Hearing starts, and then you're sitting down, like one part, you're sort of like the defendant, I guess, in a way.
Someone says she's up front.
Both big.
Okay, like out front of the church or?
No, that door should be locked.